Developing this morning, a stunning discovery on a Virginia farm. The FBI says it seized the largest cache of finished homemade explosives that it's ever seen. Federal investigators finding over 150 bombs on one man's property, including some that were marked lethal. The FBI now trying to figure out what he had planned as prosecutors call him an extreme danger to that community. NewsNation's Alina Shirazi has the latest for us this morning. Alina, how did this guy end up on the FBI's radar in the first place? And do we know what he was planning to do with all of it?
Markie, good morning. Good to be with you. Well, we did look through those court documents and we learned 36-year-old Brad Spafford, you can see him on your screen there. He was arrested earlier this month after 150 finished explosives, primarily pipe bombs, were found during a search of his 20-acre farm. The FBI, as you mentioned earlier, says that's the most they've ever found in the Bureau's more than 100-year history. We know this investigation started after a neighbor reported Spafford's history of explosives and troubling statements. Authorities say Spafford also had an unregistered short-barrel rifle, which is what led to his arrest on a criminal complaint. Here are some of the most notable parts from the legal case. Quote, the defendant acknowledged to keeping a jar in his freezer of HMTD, an explosive material that is so unstable it can be exploded merely as a result of friction of temperature changes. Agents found this jar unsecured next to food items with handwritten labeling, making it as dangerous and do not touch. Documents also say, quote, even after losing his own fingers as a result of his homemade explosive materials, he made the apparent remarkable decision to keep an extraordinarily dangerous explosive material in the home's freezer next to food items that could be accessed by the entire family. The FBI also found a notebook in the defendant's home with extensive lists of explosives and recipes for how to make explosive materials. The explosives, we know, were discovered in a detached garage and even in a bedroom, stuffed into a backpack with a logo on it that said, "No Lives Matter." That's a reference to a far-right extremist ideology. We know the neighbor claims Spafford had lost 3 fingers, as I mentioned, in an accident while handling those homemade explosives. Spafford also alleged he expressed violent political views, even suggesting, quote, political assassinations should be brought back. They also say he expressed violent political views, as I mentioned. So we're continuing to read through those court documents to see what else is notable. He also, we know, used photographs of President Biden for target practice at a local shooting range. Markie.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.